Star quality. I got it. I got this. You got it. You got it. My chart says so. Look at me go. Sun, moon, rising. It's all about timing. It's all about timing. Earthlings. What's it all mean? What's it all mean? Star quality.
What's it all mean? What's it all mean?
Star quality.
Woo. No, dude, really, what does it all mean?
Star quality. I got it. You got it. You got it. Star quality. Star quality. What's up, Star Party people? Happy full moon, happy blue moon to those who celebrate. You're listening to Star Quality, a podcast and newsletter that I, your astrologer, Stevie, hosts here on Substack, but you can listen to these episodes wherever you get your podcasts. And it's a podcast, so that means we are in a lunation episode. And if you're like, wait a tick, didn't we already have a full moon this month? You're so right. We did, and we're having two. We are in a blue moon. So this is, okay, people have to fight about this on the World Wide Web, but a blue moon happens when we have a full moon in the same calendar month. So this is a Gregorian calendar symbolism situation thing versus an astrological. It's not astrological, but that's okay. You know, I'm not a cop. I'm not here to police. If you want to embrace the blue moon energy, I do. I think it's interesting, even if it's not technically an astrological phenomenon, because we're still here to do pattern recognition, right? So maybe it will become an astrological phenomenon. You know, maybe there's something that we can note when, I mean, I guess it wouldn't because of like the calendar layout. Anyways, whatever. We're here to have fun. It's a Sag full moon. You know, what is Sagittarius with not entertaining an idea without meandering on a conversation about, you know, the ethics and symbolism of a blue moon and in the astrological community, a dissertation in a MFA program you're thinking about registering for. With that being said, if you're new here, hi and welcome. If you are returning, love to see you again. My name is Stevie. I'm an astrologer, and I'm going to be breaking down this full moon that we're going to be experiencing, this blue full moon happening on May 31st, 2026. It happens very early in the morning Pacific time. It is at 1:45 a.m. Pacific, so adjust for your time zone. Again, that's May 31st, 2026, 1:45 a.m. Pacific, happening at 9 degrees of Sagittarius. Full moons are when we have the moon sign in the opposite sign of the sun. It's when the moon is at its fullest. New moons are the opposite, when the sun and moon are in the same sign and the moon is at its darkest. And yeah, we had a full moon earlier this month. We had a full moon in Scorpio on May 1st to kick off the month, and we will be closing the month with a full moon in Sagittarius. So double the monthly amount to release. Full moons, we do connect to rituals around seeing all the light and having all that light, being able to make decisions of what's staying, what's going, what is working for us, what isn't. And I think especially with Sagittarius, a sign that is deeply connected to possibilities, luck, chance, Sag is really, at its best, a really beautiful risk taker. I think all the fire signs know when it's time to take strategic risks. Leo might have the hardest time with that, but we can talk more about that in the comments or chat. But I do think that this Sag full moon is very much about where we want to take our energy from here on out. There is a little bit of where to next. Where am I going? What do I want to do? A lot of reflection. It kind of makes sense too. I mean, we're halfway through the year. Fuck. Let's get Gregorian with it for a second. Fuck. What the fuck? Dude, fire horse here, all this fire and air energy, it is moving fast. Thank God May slowed down for me a little bit. Like, there's a little energy slowing. And if you listen to last episode, I'm feeling much better. I'm doing much better. I'm telling you, there's something, maybe it's my Cancer rising. As soon as the the astrological energy is stable, that's when I like have a breakdown. It's pretty tight. Also Uranus is on my Mercury, so I don't know, I'm having a lot of interesting reflections and feelings on like posting and frequency and writer's block and what do I want to share? Do I want to be a cog in the machine? Why do I feel like a cog in the machine? I actually love to do this stuff. And so, you know, the bargaining we all do when we want to chase our dreams, but then also like the fear of failure, right? The fear of like unknowns and what's next, and when to redirect. Is this format stale? You know, this is me as the vessel for the reflections that could come up in the Sagittarius full moon vibes. I'm going to get into the aspects that are being made to the sun and moon in this chart, and then after the paywall I will get into the rest of the chart, which gives us a lot of context and information about what might be coming up in this full moon, some thoughts for reflection for ourselves that you could, if you want to journal with that, whatever, however you want to use this space. So we'll dive into that in a sec. If you're like, what do you mean paid wall tier things? I'm glad you asked. There is a paid section of Star Quality. It is called the third space. So that is for the paid section for user supporters. This is a fully user supported platform. I'm indie as hell. Would love to not be. Let's get me some. Let's talk about where do we go next as the theme. Where I feel like there's a home for me somewhere. I'm just claiming it, saying it out loud. This is also happening very loudly with my Jupiter. So anyways, and it's a very Jupiterian full moon. But if you would like, for the cost of buying me a iced latte with oat milk, and so I can tip the barista, you get all the paywalled episodes, the paywalled weekly horoscope. There's always Monday and Tuesday free, and then Wednesday onward is paywalled, so you get a little taste at the beginning of the week, and then the rest, and then any other paywalled goodies as well. So if you're listening and you like this, and you can, I really appreciate the support. Also, another ways to support is to tell your friends about me. If you are like, I really like her show, I really like her newsletter, let your friends know. I gotta figure out a referral system, because I feel like I gotta reward the people who get out the word. As a Venusian, I recognize you because I take my recommendations seriously, you know. Another great way to support in a more one-off way, it doesn't have to be one-off, but you know, whatever, do with that what you will, is if you want to book a reading with me too. I have availability for readings, so come through if you're like digging all the astrology stuff, but you want to sit down with your chart and get into the specifics of how this full moon is affecting you specifically, how we're going to look at the astrology, whether for the months ahead or up to a year ahead, or however far you want to go into the future, or we can look into the past. We can sit here in the present, but in the show notes, feel free to take a look, and you can book with me, or you can go to astrologywithstevie.as.me. So astrologywithstevie.a as in apple, s as in Sam, .m as in Mary, e as in Edward, as.me. That's my Acuity scheduling calendar, and you can book a time with me there. And follow me on the socials, all the things. All the things are in the links in the show notes, and et cetera, et cetera. So appreciate ya. Okay, quick wellness check. Where am I entering? I just got back from the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles. I think it's up Los Angeles County, but Natural History Museum here in LA. They had a double whammy of two exhibits I really wanted to see, and this feels also very Sagittarius, because I think of Sagittarius and Scorpio in some ways connected to like museums and relics and history and those sorts of things. So very fitting. And Gemini with these exhibits and bite-sized info and plaques, and you know they're a connected access for a reason. Yeah, so there was one which was about orcas, killer whales as they're also called, but I call them orcas because they're the apex predator, but you know, they have to. That's just their life. They're matriarchal. They live in pods. They have families. They're social. They speak different languages. Their brains are huge. It was so funny because I was like, okay, I guess this is sort of, you know, we're all on various levels of spectrum, and like this is obviously my hyper spectrum fixation is orca whales. I walked in and I told Pablo, my husband, I was like, I like know all this info, which was hilarious. A lot of the information I did not know, and which I was mostly interested in going, besides like the more scientifical fact sort of stuff, was more of the folkloric, symbolic, indigenous affiliation with orca whales and their spirits, and like that they're we're seen in general, we're seen as these creatures that could also come on land. And there was like a lot of very like social, communal interaction with orcas. So I found that really, really fascinating. Loved it. Go check it out. I think it's there till like spring of next year. And then I can't remember how long this other exhibit is up, but man, it was a two for one in terms of my hyper niche interests. I guess they're like not that hyper nor niche, but maybe they are. They feel really like soul affirming for me. But there is the unearthed raw beauty gems show. So it was all the crystals and things, huge suckers with various colors and size and shapes, and just like, I mean, truly like alien life forms. I know we talk a lot about the ocean and deep sea creatures. I'm like, damn, there's like alien life out there. And I know these aren't like living mammal situations or amphibians, but like these crystals are just like, it's just wild. This grows from the earth. Like, this is a real thing. This is earth made creation, especially I feel like, earth's beautiful obviously, but so much of it is green, blue, dirt, rock, and then like crystals. It's like fucking aquamarine, neon orange, hot pink. It's just like, what? And just so many as like art objects, like just little sculptures. They reminded me so much of the artist and friend, shout out to Taurus, Laura Soto's sculptures. So super sick, loved it, beautiful. So I'm coming off that. I'm coming off of like the high of seeing cool things, getting really deep into what you're interested in. Ate amazing seafood afterwards at Holbox. So I just was like in my mermaid, crystals, orca whale mode. Now I'm drinking a caffeinated tea in the evening, though it's still light out because it's just that time of year. Oh, I totally forgot about something I want to say now so people can plan accordingly. But I am going to be leading a full moon hike on June 29th, 2026 through the Valley Girl Hiking Club. It's going to be at Griffith Observatory, and it's going to end up there. But if you want the full hike details, I'll be leading the hike, giving some astrological tidbits. I did this last year, and it was super fun. And so check it out. I'm like, should I say this special thing? I have family members that will be coming, which will be out of towners. So be cool. Be cool. Don't scare the hoes. Just kidding. But I would love to see y'all there. So if this gives you some time to plan, if you live a little further out in SoCal, come through. It'll be a beautiful eve. It is a Monday, June 29th. Yeah, it's a Monday. But we do shit on weekdays sometimes. That's life. Gotta live it. So come out, live life. Come hike with me at Valley Girl Hiking Club. I'm gonna link their info in the show notes. My dear Aries angel friend Veronica is the leader of the club, community leader. She puts on a really great space, and it's just a ritual I really enjoy participating in. So if you're in the Los Angeles, SoCal area and want to come on a full moon hike, come on out June 29th, 2026. Also, going to be getting the Vision Board Club meetup started again soon. They were not really in action in 2026 because, I don't know, life happens, but they will be back. Some planning is in the work, so watch this space as well. Okay, I gotta get into this motherfucking moon because there's a lot happening, and we can start first with the aspects that are being made to the moon, and then I'll get into the sun because they have some same but different stuff going on. So Sagittarius full moon release mode. There may be ways we may have been beaten around the path, maybe a little distracted, right? I think Sag can go off book, off base, off of everything, off the wall. So I think that there is a little bit of that fire redirection that is happening with the fiery Sag moon. And that's mainly coming from, of course, it's always going to be in opposition to the sun. And just a moment for that because that's every full moon. But sun moon opposition to me is really separating like head from heart, the conscious from subconscious. Like it's sort of just getting a little like, okay, maybe one side of us wants this one thing, but the other side is looking for another. And the moon is getting supercharged with some trines from both Neptune and Saturn in Aries. So Neptune really fueling that sort of like anything's possible, we got this, remember who you are, lighting that kind of fire into like the more fantasy side that we definitely can equate Neptune with. Actually, I should put a fucking pic from the Crystal Museum. There was this stone that was called like Neptunian. Just kidding. It was called Neptunite. That makes more sense. Neptunite. Ooh, I wonder what the symbolism of that crystal is. I don't have my phone with me, but I'll put the picture. But if I recall, it was one that looked just like cookies and cream dessert or ice cream. It was stunning. Okay, this is just a real quick little anecdote from gemrockauctions.com. Can I say that again? gemrockauctions.com. Neptunite, the symbols between light and dark, life and death, good and evil, and also the symbolism extends to emotional healing abilities. Neptunite is said to assist in rediscovering lost connections, both within yourself and with others. Self-awareness to help you better understand your needs and desires and foster deep connections, harmony, and fulfillment. And yeah, I mean, I think, I know Neptune gets this whole like, what day is it? I'm in the fog. Everything's so unclear. But what Neptune does know is like the feeling it wants to feel, how it wants to wake up, how it wants to like live in a kind of more in that beautiful, fantastical fantasy way that we talk about, but like it still like wants to do it. Yeah, I can have a lot of concepts, but it's hoping that those concepts actually come true in reality. That's where the other planets need to come in, right? Like Neptune is setting the vision, and I think that's why I really like the Saturn trine with it as well, because Saturn is the discipline to then go do it, the fire to light under the ass, and to go like, okay, how do we do this? And I think especially for some folks, if you've been like playing by the rules and doing everything by the book and blah 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 and like taking all the steps, but you're just like it's still not resonating with how things you want it to look, I think that that's a brilliant reminder of like, well, maybe we do things a little bad girl style. I always say with Sagittarius moons, mainly in people's charts who are Sag moons, but also I think this can apply to a bigger scale, is that they just really need to try things for themselves. I think just too much analysis paralysis can leave them very stuck. And I think, how do we get unstuck? How do we unstuck ourselves? We could stay here or we could go up, to quote Sophie. And, no one likes to hear this, but sometimes to get unstuck, we have to fuck up. We do things wrong. We, quote, make mistakes. I feel like I won't get into an AI rant this episode because I'm tired, Grandpa. Like, fuck this shit. But there was definitely the exhaustion hit there for a sec, but nevertheless, she persists. But, this quest for, like, basically perfectionism, almost like this fucking, talk about, like, counterintuitive to the South Node, Pisces, North Node shit we got going on. But this quest for perfection, I saw someone talking about how, like, think about, like, the memories you had. Aren't some of, like, the fondest ones where things didn't go as planned? You're locked out of your rental, you have to fucking break in, you're giggling with your friend, like everything is just culturally, everyone wants to just know how things go and that it's safe and that we end up where we need to end up. And it's like we've given away the agency to higher powers that be, not like in a spiritual way, but in a like corporate way. And here we are. So I guess just like I feel like it's advice I give and take is just like, girl, you think too much. Like, it's a little bit anti overthinking and a little more pro just do it. Let's talk about the glue that's happening with the sun, because the sun has different aspects going on. There's one in common besides the opposition with the moon, but it's sextiling that Saturn, but it's not making any action to that Neptune, though we'll get into the Uranus of it all in a second. But the sun is conjunct Uranus, and it's also trining Pluto and sextiling Saturn. So a little bit of different energies also being offered to the sun and moon story that's happening in this lunation. I think of Sun, Pluto, of course, in a very take a shot literal way, is transformative, right? Like, what do we want to be known for? What do we not want to be known for? You know, a vulnerable share. You know, I don't like to, I don't know. I sometimes I have friends who like are just get really into their like, how much am I using social media? How in or out, or, you know, screen time and this. And I'm like, and I hear that, and then I don't know. There's just so much we can feel bad about in life that I'm like, I don't really want to hop on that train. However, I've been thinking more about it now, just in these past few weeks, as I like dealt with a kind of like personal depression low April that I've been crawling out of in May, is just like, oh wait, I'm obviously using this as a cope. I'm obviously distracting myself. I'm obviously putting things off to the last minute. I don't want to be known as a girl who's just on my phone. I want to make things. I want people to see things. I want people to connect with things. And I still, and this is usually when my husband or friends are like, you do that. I'm like, yeah, I know. But I'm also like, I could do it more. I could even try harder. So I think that like Pluto is about really those kind of honest conversations too, about like getting real with like, yeah, I've like, you don't have to like, it's like lying in your journal, you know, like you don't have to impress anybody here. You can just say what's real for you. And the air of it all, right? Like the Uranus, oh, not Uranus yet, but the Sun in Gemini and the Pluto trine in Aquarius, like the air connection, the air trine of it all is letting those ideas flow with it, which I think come back to like the imperfection, or, you know, kind of breaking stuff to get to where you need to go. I wanted to talk about the Saturn component because Saturn is connecting these two. So Saturn is like the glue in this sun moon sandwich, and Saturn does shit. Saturn puts one foot in front of the other. Saturn is making the plan, has things to look forward to. And I think the Aries is really simple. What simple ass little thing would you love? I'm going to challenge you to do this by, here's a homework assignment. Okay, one sec. Let me look at the date so I know, so I don't speak out of turn. By motherfucking June 14th, what is one thing you would absolutely need booked, done, completed, that would just feel like, fuck, I really, if I can look back on 2026, zoom it all the way out, at least I did that, you know? And is it a trip? You're like, I can't afford it. I can't, like, honey, how many times have you said that, and then that's ring true, and then time happens, this and that. Again, do no harm. You know your life and expenses and schedule, but like, let's just book a trip as one, right? Like, book a trip. You know, for me, I gotta fucking figure out these parking tickets that were on my stolen scooter that I started but didn't finish because I needed to wait for another step, and now that step's completed. Now I have to go back. Anyways, I would love to, yeah, I need to get that done before June 14th. That would make me just feel like I did something. You know, get my website notes back because god damn, I gotta do that relaunch. Change my welcome email for the Substack. Like, just like, what is something, and simple. And booking that trip doesn't mean you have to have everything planned. It's like, get the tickets, you know, get the plan on the cal. Get the text out to the friends like, hey, we said we wanted to do like fun river stuff this summer. What are the date? Here's the few weeks in the work for me. Sometimes, okay, this is what it's all coming back to. Sometimes if we want things to happen, very Gemini lesson, we just got to do it. Who's coming with me? Jerry Maguire. Who's coming with me? Like, and if no one's coming with you, then being okay doing it alone too. So I think, yeah, this whole apply this to your life plan needs action, and it's being very supported. I think in a subconscious emotional center, emotional compass way with the moon, like what is something that would make your heart sing? That would just be like, God, I'm so glad I just, even in all this shit of 2026, I did that. I, you know, went away and did a writer's one-day cabin thing by myself. I, you know, fucking cleared out my fucking books that are like overloading my bookshelf, and I don't even like pull things off because it's gonna collapse because I have too much shit on here. Like the simplifying. a simple next step, I think, is going to unlock a lot of other info. And let's talk about Uranus. Uranus, it's her first Gemini season with Uranus and Gemini. So take notes. This is what we're in store for the next, 8 years ahead or 7 years, whatever, for the foreseeable future. This is what we're in. Lots of thoughts, lots of anxiety, lots of feelings, lots of, there's just I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of edginess, obviously from me, but also from a lot of the people around me. There's just I don't know. It's like when your socks feel off or something. But what Uranus conjunct the Sun does offers an opportunity for change and an opportunity to, think about what you're what are you intaking? What is the music, movies, creators, whatever it is, astrology even, what if it's coming in, how is it affecting your nervous system, your mind? I don't need to get into cortisol, but the cortisol of it all. What the cortisol of it all? Maybe just a reminder that we can do things a little in this fastness, and we'll get into the Taurus Mars because I think this is it's we can there's some things that do require us to move at lightning speed, right? And every email's urgent and everything is due now, but a lot of things aren't time sensitive like that. So knowing what is, I think that is also the key of where do we go next. Well, where we go next is us coming to terms with what is urgent and what is not, so that way we aren't always moving like an animal being hunted, And for some of us, that's going to require obviously going to mental health professionals, etc. There's only so much self work one can do, right? The Gemini reminder: do you need a team? Is there something you need to outsource? Is there someone else that can hold up the mirror for you? If it's been hard to do things, if some of the things have been hard to do alone. Okay, well, this is where I gotta release my little paywall peeps. The paywall is starting in just a moment, so I'm going to get into the rest of the chart. And, for a little teasy poo, what else to get into? Well, there's some other aspects being made to Uranus that we'll talk about. The Venus Jupiter of it all is actually quite nice. We'll get into it. Taurus Mars with this Pluto square, yada yada. I feel like a lot of people overblew like that this time around, but it's okay. It makes sense. That's the other part. And I think that's why I keep feeling almost this last month a foot in, a foot out. And maybe it's the Neptune change of it all too, because it's in my career sector. So many people talk about astrology in a way where I'm bro, it's not that serious. Everything changes now, and I'm it didn't. It doesn't. Yeah, shout out to those really doing their due diligence and history lessons on global conflict and society and markets and things. I think it's super interesting, but I think I got into this rant last time, perhaps, but anywho, star quality for everyday reflections. But I'm going to get into the rest of this chart. Thank you for listening up till now. There is free trials if you want to game my system. You could do a free trial and get in there. You could you could also have a membership for a month or two, quit, do whatever. Or you could pay the flat year and it's cheaper per month. So that's a way to go. But either way, love you to bits. Enjoy this full moon. And for my third spacers, we're going to get into the rest of this lunation's chart.